Hey y'all, it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and I am doing another art journal page. This one is in what I call my mini junk journal. It's a junk journal I made, I don't even know how many years ago, that I discovered I had started in a pile of stuff. And well, I discovered it in a pile of stuff, and apparently I had started it and just let it be. I've got a whole series in my YouTube of doing some of these pages where I was just working in this journal, but then I got kind of tired of it, and now I just kind of use it when I want to. So tends to most of the pages that come out of this journal are some of my favorites. I think it's because it's kind of small. Anyway, this journal page is again one of my, if you see my other videos, you know most of the ones lately have been part of my 100-day project. So I am trying to use up some of the materials I have hoarded and collected in my craft room, and I've got 100 materials listed on a spreadsheet of all things to make sure I use 100 different things in my craft room. So today's is I had it there at the beginning, is a big piece of eco-dyed fabric that I had dyed with Tiffany of Southern Gals Designs at one of her Art at the Beach retreats. So she had done a pot of stuff, and I had a couple little things with me that I could just throw in with hers, and I did that. And I have kind of not been using that fabric because it was too special. So yeah, it needed to be used. So here I am, I collaged down just a couple pieces of like book paper, and then that is some kind of pink Lindy spray. I'll try to remember to list it below in the description, and I just sprayed a little bit on there to get some color. And then that is an Amsterdam acrylic ink and a really pretty blue, probably possibly like primary blue, and again I'll put that in the description box below. Put a couple drops, and y'all, I really love that blue. Isn't that just gorgeous? And I just spritz that with a little water, and that I don't know, that's a like a Tim Holtz, some kind of mist sprayer thing. And so I sprayed that and moved it around a bit, and then just picked it up with a piece of paper that was off on the side, just to kind of I don't know, get some of the excess water and color off. And then I'm going to dry it real quick. I'm cutting out some of the drying. Now I'm coming back in. I've got a little bit of the Dino Wakley gesso there, and Dino Wakley Media gesso. And I have got a palette knife, and I am just scraping just a little bit on there to kind of, I don't know, make those pages that I glued down a little more cohesive, and just bring a little white in there, a little freshness to it. I don't know. It gesso always seems to help kind of, when you don't know what else to do on a page, just put a little gesso down. Yeah, it always seems to lift it a little bit. So I just put that little bit down. See, I leave it here for a second because I'm thinking about it, and trying not to waste some of the material I put down, and wipe it up with other things I might use later. And so here's that big piece of fabric that I want to use somehow in this little tiny journal page. So I'm going to, and you see it's got some rust dye on it, some eco dye, and yeah, I don't even remember what color that piece of fabric had been before I put it in that pot. Um, it wasn't that color. So I'm gonna futz with this for a little bit. I find myself saying futz. The last 3 videos I think I've said futz. I don't even know where I got that word from. It's yeah, I'm just gonna screw around and kind of try things out and play with it. For some reason I knew I wanted somehow that fabric to stick up on that upper left corner. So I'm going to tear it down a little bit thinner, because I decided I was going to just, oh, I got a text. Um, um, Sorry, I am going to punch some holes up there at the top and somehow tie it on there. So I get just my regular old hole punch that's from the dollar store, and making, I think, 3 punches. Um, and I wanted to do, what is it called? It's called like a half hitch knot, where you kind of fold whatever your material is in half and then slip the ends through. And I thought that's what I would do. See, I got it in there and I'm pulling it tight, and um, I kept looking at that back page because I was so afraid that doing this, was going to mess up that other page, and it doesn't. Except, well, here's me putting it back through and pulling up, and I ripped it. And y'all, normally that would have really upset me, but I was kind of like, okay, so that's what it is. I guess I won't be doing that kind of knot on my page. So instead, I cut down another piece of fabric, and well, actually, I guess I do try to do the half hitch again, and then I realized I just didn't want to. So I'm just gonna tie a real basic knot right here, ta-da, and take that other one that I had been struggling with and tie another knot. And that's it. Normally I would do things in odd numbers, but since I already had that torn piece, I didn't want to punch another hole there. I just, yeah, I was happy with the two. I had something sticking out of my journal. I tried, yeah. So I've got these, what are they? The photo booth, Tim Holtz photo booth, paper dolls. That's what they are, paper dolls. And I picked out this one, and I've got them separated by size. They don't come all this tiny. The big pack has like little ones in it, and I had decided I wanted to separate them. So I've got like a bag of big ones and a bag of little ones. So I found this little girl, and she's kind of like either in like some kind of scouting uniform or cowboy girl costume or cowboy girl. Man, I don't. What am I talking about? A cowgirl costume. um, and she's super cute, and so I decided I was gonna put her down, but I knew I wanted somehow to involve that fabric again. In the page. So I cut a strip that was the length of that page, and I'm using some matte gel medium, and I glued my fabric down, and then I'm going to glue my little girl down. I'm going to use the same stuff to glue my paper doll down. And after this, the page comes together pretty quickly. I use a couple, and y'all, this is, I don't know, I say this about all my pages. This is one of my favorite pages. I really do love this. It was so, I don't know, so few materials, and it really just kind of like, I don't know, came together. So I've got my Stabilo all pencil and black there, and I'm just going around her with it to, and I'll use a wet paintbrush, just wet with water, to kind of grunge that up around the outside of her. And it's a fairly thin one because I didn't need a huge impact. And I don't know, it really bled quite a bit on that fabric. You can see how it's so much darker there than it is on the paper. I don't know what the reactive qualities are for the Stabilo all, but it definitely made a difference. But anyway, so I've got her little shadow going so that she pops off the page, and then for some reason I decided to grab my big old cheap thing of watercolors and take the black and just make some like mark making, just some little dashes with it. And when I was looking at this page the other day, or maybe when I was editing the photos for this, I could not figure out what I had made those marks with. I was like, what did I do that with? Was that the Stabilo? No, it's just my cheap little watercolors. So yeah, so I'm just doing a little bit of mark making on there. And then I'm going to, in a second, pull out my Tim Holtz Chit Chat stickers. I think that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to pick one almost immediately that says, not immediately, but faster than it takes me to pick out some of them. I love words, and sometimes I overthink things. But so I find this one pretty quickly. I think it says, be brave with your life. And me using the fabric in here and just kind of letting things flow felt kind of brave to me. And her in that little cowgirl outfit, she looks like she's a bit of a tough girl. So I decided that bravery was kind of like on par with what I wanted to express that day. And I just put a little bit of Stabilo down there at the bottom and gave it a shadow, and I left it. So here's a few pictures, or a ton of pictures, whatever. Y'all let me know if y'all have any questions or anything else, and make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.